Hi, I'm Christopher Mazurk with Masloy, and today I'm going to talk about some YouTube basics for small businesses. Okay, so today we're going to talk about YouTube basics for small businesses. And the first thing that you need to think about before you do anything else, before you set up your channel, before you do anything at all, is your key performance indicators or your KPIs. Now for YouTube, they're pretty basic. You want to focus on three simple things. The first one is how many likes did that video get? You're probably not going to get a ton of likes being a small business unless you're very consumer facing, but we can still kind of take a look at that as a leading key performance indicator to let us know how that video is performing. The second is your video's watch time. That is going to be an indicator of how people are interpreting the quality of your video, and if you need to maybe step up your game in certain areas or improve the quality of your content. Usually people are very forgiving when it comes to the production value of videos. They just want to make sure that the lighting is good and that the audio is good. But you want to make sure also that the content is actually going to be appropriate and useful and add value to your visitors. So the secret to KPIs is keeping them really, really simple. You don't want to have too many. So I'm only going to give you one more today. So the third and final KPI is going to be the clicks from your YouTube video through to your website. So what's important here, again, before setting up your YouTube video, obviously you're going to need to have a website and all that other kind of stuff, but make sure Google Analytics is connected and that you can tell when somebody is clicking from a website, let's say YouTube, through to your website. So those are going to be the three KPIs that you need to look at as a small business owner to make sure that your YouTube videos are doing what you want them to be doing. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is your call to action. We like to call it a CTA because we're all into keeping things short. So you need to make sure that your video has a compelling call to action. Our call to action for this video is for you to click through, go to our website, and access a PDF that will have a little bit more information, a little bit of additional value. And what we are going to do at that point is what you should do, which is ask for, a name and an email address, or maybe just an email address to keep it as simple as possible. Our goal, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, is going to be to build our list. We want more than just YouTube subscribers at the end of the day. So you need to make sure that you have a compelling call to action that's going to excite your viewers and drive them to your website. Some other examples of calls to action are affiliate links. Those are really, really popular where YouTube content creators will recommend a piece of equipment and get an affiliate link from somewhere like Amazon. And then when you purchase that equipment, they make a little bit of money off the top of that. That's a call to action that's creating value for both the viewer and for the person that's creating the content. Okay, now that we're clear on the basics, we've got the KPIs, we've got the calls to action. Now we can get started getting our hands dirty with YouTube. So YouTube's setting up YouTube for business versus YouTube for your personal stuff. There's not a huge difference, but there is one key and critical difference, and that is to make sure that you are setting your YouTube account up as a brand channel. Not just a personal channel, it has to be a brand channel. This allows you to do a lot of different things that you can't do with a personal channel, but most importantly is it allows you to delegate access to the channel without giving out your personal password. So you're going to want to make sure that you do that. We'll have a link, and in that PDF I mentioned, we'll have some more steps on how you can set that up. Okay, so we're going to cover two more topics in this video. The next one is going to be creating your actual videos. Now, as a small business, the most important thing to keep in mind is consistency. And consistency requires, and this is super, super difficult for small business owners in marketing, consistency requires that you just make the content and don't get paralyzed by perfection. You got to make sure that you're getting content out there regularly so people know when they can tune in and know when they can expect content from you. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some basics for video production so you can make sure that it looks good, but you don't have to worry about setting up a Hollywood set or any of that kind of stuff. You'll see a little bit of behind the scenes footage with this video and all the videos that we're going to be doing to show kind of how things are set up for us. And you'll see it's really basic, but we're really happy with the quality that we got. So as a small business owner, here's your starter package. First and foremost, get yourself a tripod. You're not going to be holding the camera yourself, and you want to make sure that it's still and stable so the video is watchable. The second thing you need is your camera. So you can go out and you can buy all different kinds of cameras, and you can, get cameras ranging from super inexpensive GoPros to, crazy tens of thousands of dollar cameras. We do have clients that have filmed on both. What I would invite you to do is take your iPhone, or, if you're not an iPhone user, your Android phone, whatever it is. Most modern phones these days allow you to shoot at 4K, and they allow you to change the frames per second. So what I'd like you to do is take that iPhone, which is a perfectly good camera, set it to 4K, make sure you go into your settings and you check on that, and set it to shoot at 24 frames per second. Now, iPhones these days allow you to shoot at 60 frames per second, 120. They go crazy. You can do crazy stuff. But to have a cinematic look, meaning something that feels right to the person that's watching it, which is our goal, you're going to need to set that to 24 frames per second. So again, with the iPhone and Android settings, we'll include little screenshots for that in that PDF. So I really invite you, head over to the website, check out this blog post that's going to be connected, and download that PDF. It'll have all the information to get going. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is lighting. So lighting is super simple. You can have a multi-point setup like we've got here, or just keep it basic and get yourself a ring light. They're also called Diva rings. You can get a nice 18-inch ring light for $50 to $100 on Amazon, and it's going to make it all really simple. Your goal is to eliminate shadows around your face and behind you and all that kind of stuff. You can see if I do this and put my hands in front of the lights, it's creating weird shadows that make it not as fun to watch me on video. So you can do it like this, where you've got a videographer and you've got, everything set up and you're taking time to set it all up, or just get yourself a ring light. We've probably all got them because we're shooting Zoom videos these days. So you can use your ring light, use your cell phone, and you'll have a good shot that is lit well. Okay, so the next thing, and in my opinion, the most important thing, is the audio quality. We have to make sure that the sound is good. Otherwise, people aren't going to want to pay attention to what you're saying. So it's really simple. You can go on YouTube and you can buy, I think it's like a $20 lavalier mic. The thing is wired. It's got a really long cable. There's a teeny tiny bit of effort to get it set up. But other than that, you just plug it in and you're going to sound great. You're not going to sound perfect. You can see that I've got a wireless lavalier mic on that's a little bit higher quality. And we've also got, a shotgun mic here for backup and just to be able to kind of mix the audio levels. That's more than you need. Just get yourself one of those inexpensive wired lavalier mics. We'll have a link in the description. We'll also have some instructions in that PDF. So that's really all you need for audio. The next thing is, just like we are in this main shot, I want to make sure that you're centered on the camera. You can step over to the side a little bit. You can do, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do, but our goal is just to get you in a nice, simple, basic shot. So center yourself on the camera, and that's all you need to do. Now, the final thing that you need is a handsome background. And I don't mean that you have to go out and set up a stage or do any of that kind of crazy stuff. You can use a room in your office. You can use a room in your house. Just think about what it's going to look like. Maybe take a couple shots with your cell phone to get some examples and kind of play around with things, pull things out of the background. Just set it up so it looks somewhat interesting. That's all you need to do. We've got a couple brick wall panels that we picked up at Home Depot for $30. And we've got some other lights where we can change the color. It's super, super basic. That's really more than you need. Shoot it in your office, but just kind of pay attention to that background. And most importantly, make sure that the camera angle is right with the background. I see a lot of footage where you'll be looking off in the corner and see part of the ceiling, and it doesn't add up, right? It doesn't look good. So what I want you to do is set up a really basic, handsome background, and that's all you're gonna need. Okay, so here's the final tip for YouTube basics for small business owners. Just to recap really quick, we've got KPIs, know what your numbers are gonna be before you do anything else. Your call to action, make sure that you're inviting people back to your website. Feel free to repeat it often. Setting up a brand channel, not a personal channel, so you can get other people to help you out with making sure everything looks great. some basics about how to shoot a video that's going to be acceptable production quality, so you're going to be happy to share it with your clients and your audience. And then the final piece, the final tip of the day, is to grow your list. Now, here's the thing about YouTube and social media and other platforms that are not owned by you. So if you get people to subscribe or get people to ring the bell or do all those things that I hope you'll do for us, you're still not necessarily going to have access to communicating with them whenever you want to. And YouTube can and has changed that algorithm, so you no longer have access to communicate with your subscribers the way that you want to. So that's why you need that call to action. You want to have a compelling call to action, drive people back to your website, make sure that the content is gated, meaning it's not available until after they fill out a form where you can capture their email address, and then you want to start plugging those email addresses into your mailing list, and that's how you're going to grow your marketing engine as a small business. My name is Christopher Mazurk with Masloy. Thanks for joining me today as we talked about YouTube basics for small businesses. Please check out our website. This blog will be on the website, and we'll have a really awesome PDF that you can download with a little bit more detail.